and gentlemen, welcome to The Breakdown, our second to last episode of all time, Zin. How does that
all
make
time.
you feel? Not all time,
all
this season,
time.
sorry.
No way. Intel?
I'm on Mars. My bad.
Our second to last show of the CDL season. Dude, time has flown by. It feels like yesterday we were suiting up, recording the intro for the show. Thank you guys for your support so far on the show, obviously.
Of course.
Like I said, the year feels like it has literally went by like this. We retired.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. And the matches are still getting better and better. We got champs coming up, so welcome to the second to last breakdown
and we'll be
of the
talking
season.
about that. We'll be talking about that here in our first segment of the day. Let's get right on into it. This might be a little bit longer of an episode just because we have a lot more to break down. It was a major tournament, but here's the weekend review, folks.
So weekend review, you guys know the drill. I mean, we pick out some matches that we think were...
we have to address the elephant in the room. 12 of 18 matches were 3-0s. I don't think we've seen anything like that in at least recent history. That is insane. We're at the end of the year now, you expect the competition to be very tight, but it's almost like it's the opposite. We're starting to see some of those top teams separate themselves from the pack. It's champs time, baby. I mean, they want to win, and today it showed it this weekend.
Well, towards like the end of the year, you think that every team is playing like the same style, like they're all watching VOD, like you're watching the top teams, and you're like, okay, FaZe plays this like this, Thieves plays this like this, OpTic does this, New York does this, and like you kind of like morph your gameplay to like sort of match the top teams.
I mean, I said
which is why the 3-0s were so shocking. Like it actually doesn't make sense.
I said it this weekend. From Major 4 to Major 5, the skill gap of like players using obviously the tap to dive, like shit like that, maneuvering around the map, it looked like almost all of the players are starting to like master the game. Obviously, there's players that didn't have good weekends, whatever, but it looks like people are starting to actually abuse the mechanics of the game, and I feel like from Major 4 to Major 5, we're seeing that gap now, and it was actually kind of crazy to watch. But let's hop into some of the matches. First off, we got to talk about Vegas. Obviously, heartbreaker weekend for them.
Yeah, tragic.
They were right there. They come out. They play FaZe, which people didn't really know what to say or think about FaZe. They were coming into the weekend. They said they were trying to fix their hard point. They were looking good. And then right off the bat, they 3-0 Vegas and kind of demolished their hopes instantly.
Yeah,
and it was not close.
FaZe looked great. We saw Vegas sort of continue that trend of just not really showing up to the majors as we thought or hoped they would.
To be fair, they had a tough round one.
I mean, yeah, FaZe is not a good round one matchup for
Obviously.
Vegas, but nonetheless, like we saw them play well online again. We kind of expected a different level of Vegas. They sort of turned things around a bit in the tournament later, at least for one match. But yeah, Vegas can't get it done. FaZe looked dominant. New York versus Ultra was a shocker to me. I think obviously now we all know that New York ended up taking home the tournament,
But New York, we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because they've been kind of all over the place. But this weekend, they come out, they get 3-2'd in their first match.
So we're talking about a championship run from losers round one. They lose to Ultra, hometown team. It was close, though. It was 6-3 last map. New York, they looked good, but we also maybe thought that Ultra didn't show up firing because going into the tournament, we had the top two teams. We had OpTic and Toronto. I would say we're like the favorites to win. You have Toronto playing in front of the hometown crowd. OpTic going in, heavy hitters. They were dominant. They were lights out.
Say Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx, whatever. But yeah, Subliners lose round 1, 2, 3, and I don't think any of us at that moment thought that New York were going to come back and win the tournament.
I mean, it's tippable as fuck.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
crazy.
To do that, have that kind of composure. Obviously, they're longer days whenever you drop into the losers bracket, but it can go both ways. You can kind of catch that fire, start getting into the groove, and that's all that matters at tournaments is you got to find that groove. And New York, clearly.
You flip that switch, you get moving, it's like you can do no wrong. But next, talk to me about the next match that we saw.
I don't want to spend too much time on this because we did have 18 matches, so we kind of got to pick and choose what matches stood out to us. And honestly, the first 3 matches of Friday were big just for the shaping of the whole tournament. Because next, we see Florida take out OpTic Texas 3-0. And nobody, I mean, they said, 3% of the people had that in their bracket. So like 3% of the people in the world thought that was possible. But I didn't see it happening. And Florida looked like the Globetrotters in that first series.
Dude,
and
day one, I mean, we were looking at, we were joking with Nameless in the elevator where if you looked at the way Florida was playing against OpTic and you just erased their names and you had to guess who you were watching.
He said it was the Dynasty.
You're watching
the Prime Dynasty.
You're watching Simp. You're watching Celium. Like, you're watching players that are just shitting on people. And that's no disrespect to Florida, but they really turned it up a notch for that first round match. And I'm not going to lie, after that first round match, we kind of looked at Florida as potential tournament winners. I know it sounds far-fetched, but at that time when we saw that, they were playing lights out Call of Duty. Obviously, as the weekend progresses, they definitely sang a different tune. But yeah, definitely, I mean, the biggest upset of the tournament by far, I would say.
And yeah, for sure. Biggest upset, not even close. Next up, last match on Thursday was Minnesota versus Boston. This clinched Minnesota their spot at champs, so they get a 3-2 victory over Breach, and Breach
6-5 too.
Breach had a tough weekend. Yeah, it goes to around 11. Obviously,
tough weekend.
Breach in their first match on Friday, they ended up dropping 3-1 to London. And then from this point on, it was just a 3-0 fest. From this point on in the tournament, just 3-0s. That's why I don't even really want to talk about it. Obviously, we can talk about the Thieves match. OpTic ended up losing 3-0. I spoke to Dylan over the weekend, and he was like, we're just a hard losers round one matchup. Like, dropping to play Thieves after getting 3-0'd by Florida, the mental's already a little bit shaky, and then you got to bounce back instantly against a top contender in the league. But yeah, from that point on, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-2, 3-0, 4-3 in the final. Just
the amount of 3-0s is genuinely insane.
We haven't seen anything like it in a long time.
I will say for the grand final, we got a banger. I mean, New York versus FaZe, somehow, some way, defying all the odds. New York, they climb back and find themselves in a grand final. They just build some momentum. They won a big game 5 against the hometown favorites in Ultra, and that was a tough one for the Toronto crowd. Obviously, the crowd was behind Ultra heavily, and they bow out 3-2, so it was a close match, but nonetheless, New York came out strong. And Rocker get 3-0 slammed by New York.
Once you get one of those 3-2s under your belt, especially on Sunday, if you're in the losers bracket, like, that's what pushes you. I swear, it's like an advantage to get pushed to a game 5 whenever you're in that situation. Obviously, it takes a little more energy out of you, but I feel like once you get pushed to that limit, it kind of just takes a lot of the nerves and stress out of the next matches because you were right there from being eliminated. You overcame it. Now you get a fresh series, and it showed. They 3-0'd Minnesota, coming to the finals, and we see a 5-2 choke, map number 5, out of FaZe. Whatever you want to call it, a New York clutch, FaZe choke. I call it a little bit of both, honestly. But you got to think, if that map goes differently, we'll obviously talk about that in the deep dive.
I mean, that
we'll be
map,
looking at a different major
It was a throw from New York, followed by a throw from FaZe. I mean, up 5-2, that's gonna haunt them for sure. But that search gave us some like the most insane clutch rounds. Like you had a Priest to 1v1, you had a Simp 1v3.
Priest to Ace.
Yeah, the Priest to 2v4 where Cell didn't see Priest.
That was
like
the same round of 1v1.
Yeah, it was just a crazy sequence of events. And like I said, shout out to New York because respectfully, going into the tournament, New York, of course they're on people's radar, but they were not a favorite to win. Like they were a team that we know at any point can turn up and like play and compete with the top teams.
Yeah.
But going into the weekend, New York was like, okay, New York's going to place well. It's not, they're going to come out and win the final. So shout out to New York. They get their second championship.
Only team this year to do it.
Yeah, only team.
Shouts out to New York. That is our weekend review, ladies and gentlemen. Tried to keep it short and sweet. Obviously, we had a lot of matches. This is going to be a longer episode. Just a lot more.
Fucking strap on your helmet.
A lot more going in.
Get on your bicycle.
We're going on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Next up, though, ladies and gentlemen.
What's next? Guys, we got the team of the week. You guys know the drill. Team of the major. The graphic says team of the week, but during the major, we had lights out performances, and I don't think this team of the week is going to be a shock.
No.
All 4 players found themselves in the grand final. It's kind of hard to pick players that didn't make the grand final, especially when these players, like, consistently all tournament long were just turning up. You have a couple players from New York who were going crazy. Of course, a couple players from FaZe who were going crazy. Without further ado, let's welcome Simp to the team of the major.
Yeah. I mean, Lair came to play this weekend.
Yep.
A lot of people have been saying Simp's been looking shaky on the map. He hasn't been playing like his former self. Obviously, they want Cold War Simp back, where he was just an absolute force on the map. We got him back this weekend, even through stage or moments throughout the stage as well. But this weekend, he was coming a little bit differently out there.
Yeah, I mean, Simp, it's kind of like, what would you call it? The LeBron effect, where like he's been so good for so long that he kind of flies under the radar.
Well, people just
and obviously with Abeezy's season so far, a lot of people, it's more talk about Abeezy than Simp, but I mean, it's Chris Lair. I mean, this is a player that, without a doubt, some of the best awareness in the game, just some of the best game sense when it comes to talent. He's still up there with literally all the best players in the world.
Absolutely.
Simp is by far one of the greatest Call of Duty players we've ever seen. So
he's great.
Simp, I mean, he secures himself in the breakdown team of the week. He had a 1.17 at Major 5, 1.3 in the Control Grand Final, so that's a pretty good Control showing.
Yeah.
And Map 1 goes crazy. Just an overall good showing from Simp all weekend long.
Positive across
Great
every
showing.
game mode, 1.14 in Search, 1.2 in Control. I mean, the guy just had an outstanding weekend.
Yep.
And teams are definitely on notice now because FaZe obviously looking like a real threat to the rest of the league. Again, obviously,
always a threat, but
some people started to doubt a little bit.
Well, it seemed like they finally ironed out their consistency in respawn. Like, yeah, they lost this major, but they looked a lot more well-rounded in the hardpoint Control.
Yeah.
And that's scary for every other team going into champs.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we've got none other than the Bulldog. It's Kismet. What can we say about this guy? He's clutch. He does the dirty work on the map. Him and Hydra as a tandem, just absolutely one of the best sub-duos in the game right now. He had a phenomenal weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Kiz, once again, it's hard not to just... All of these players in the team of the week, every single player in the grand final brought something different, and I think Kiz, I mean, he just had a lights-out performance. He's one of those players where it's impressive the plays he's making while playing the role he's sort of playing, because you have Hydra.
He plays as a faster sub. Like Hydra, obviously, he lets Hydra work around the map, get his kills, which Paco is undoubtedly the best in the league at this point, and Kismet's a big part of that. You know, they work very, very well together.
He's a great facilitator, but it's not like he's just setting Hydra up. He's also making crazy plays, popping pieces, while also setting Hydra up. So he plays at an insane pace, makes the game easy for the rest of his team. And I mean, I don't have enough good things to say about the guy. He's a selfless player.
Very selfless.
And he's one of the main reasons why New York took this home.
Absolutely. Shouts out to Kiz, making big-time plays throughout the weekend. Next up, Zen.
I mean, I have to introduce him. You guys know I love him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Selim on the breakdown, team of the major, team of the week. It's like he's here every single goddamn week.
He's here every week.
He was popping off all weekend long. It's just his consistency, like the level he plays at on a consistent level. Always the tough kill. That one right there when he was laying down behind the forklift, we were like, how the fuck?
How do you stay alive right there?
He was hit by a nade.
Done.
He's elusive, man. I mean, he's a
real asshole on the map.
Dude, he's a dick, and he has a lights out weekend. But it's to be expected at this point. I mean, it's like every single major, every single match, he's showing up and playing dominant Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, they can't get it done, but still, I mean, he's one of the main reasons why this team is consistently placing top 3, consistently finding themselves in finals, and consistently a threat to every other team in the league.
Yeah, MacArthur's a beast. I mean, just to touch on some of his stats throughout the weekend. Hold on, let me pull up my page.
1.33, number 1 overall KD at the major.
Number 1 overall KD.
Look at the Control KD at major 5. Is that a 1.85? In Control. So in a game mode, almost a 2.0 KD. In a respawn game mode on the weekend, he went crazy in the grand finals. He had the number 2 series damage versus NYSL with almost 15,000 damage.
I'm assuming Hydra had number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with. MacArthur, one of our favorites, just a good kid. And ever since joining the league, he's made a name to be one of the greatest of all time when it's all said and done. Like, Absolutely. He is consistently always in the conversation. So, you know me. I mean, I can gas up MC all day. I love him.
Oh, yeah. We love MC. But last but not least, I mean, it goes without saying, it's Hydra.
Good Lord.
Applaud this man for what he did this weekend.
I'm going to give him a round of applause right now.
Dude, I mean, I'll follow you up. What he did this weekend, what he's done this whole year, he's been fucking insane.
Yeah. We now have, in our opinion, a new frontrunner for the season MVP.
I don't think it's debatable anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think going into the tournament, it was like a BZ, Octane, Scrap, and Hydra was of course in the conversation. But not only New York's the only team to secure 2 major wins in the season so far. So shout out to New York for that. And his contribution, I mean, he was walking on water versus the best teams in the world. I remember them asking him on stage like how he does it. He's like, I don't know. I just do it.
Yeah.
I just do it.
I feel like that's how, whenever you're at that level, that's how a lot of answers are. Like, whenever you start overthinking and thinking about things a little too deep, that's when it starts to really show in your gameplay. Yep. Right now, he's not thinking at all. He's just out there doing it.
I mean, look at him. He's the only NYSL player positive against FaZe, so it goes to show that New York's teamwork is on point, while, of course, he's just killing everything.
Yeah.
A 1.3 at the major, he had the number 2 highest KD on the major, second to Selim, who's an AR, and as an SMG, I mean, we all know ARs, for the most part, they usually have higher KDs. They're on the back line, they're baiting.
Get free kills.
They're getting free kills. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Don't discredit my role.
He had a 1.74 in search. We were were talking about how good he was in search. He had the number 1 search KD coming into the weekend, and I think leaving the weekend, he probably also had the number 1, at least for someone that made it far in the tournament. 1.74 search and destroy kill death is nuts. So he kept that up on land. He didn't slow down at all, and it's a big reason why New York find themselves crowned again.
I can't believe it. The kid just cock slapped everybody.
Dude, it was insane to watch.
It's impressive work, man.
He's a talented player. I know, obviously, you guys are going to say you're glazing, but
how can you not?
When you watch that level of play, obviously, you know how hard it is to do it. I know how hard it is to do it.
And I think, dude, remember he walked in the flight and he looked at me. He's like, "You hate me," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You don't gas me." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yes, I fucking do.
All we do is gas you.
I do fucking gas you." It's just Abezi's like the front runner for MVP, so it was a lot of Abezy, it was a lot of scrap.
Yeah.
And Hydra has always been a part of the conversation, but because of New York's inconsistencies, it was kind of hard to put him like with Abezy and scrap.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, and he's giving me that grin, and I was like, "I fucking gas
they
you."
got first, 12th, 12th, 4th, and then they get first again. So it's like that 12th, 12th, 4th, it's like, it's kind of hard.
What do you want us to do? And then he just comes out and he fucking slams everybody to win the second. I mean, good Lord.
But our breakdown MVP of the year, I mean, it's kind of impromptu, but it's Hydra. I mean,
don't fucking spoil our final episode.
MVP, I mean,
forget he said that.
Major 5 MVP, hands down. I think for the year, I mean, obviously, like, this is before champs. Like, things are always destined to change. Maybe it won't. Maybe New York goes back to back. But for right now, he is the clear front runner, and I think we call MVP before champs.
Yeah, listen, he's the MVP, and the reason why, and I saw a lot of debate on Twitter. People were trying to debate Abezy versus Hydra now. And while Abezy has had a lights-out season, New York takes home 2 championships, and it is a fair point that the supporting cast of FaZe for Abezy, you have Cell, you have Simp, you have Austin, like some of the winningest players ever, the most consistent players ever. And that's no disrespect to like the New York roster, but Hydra's contribution to the New York roster, it's like they're not winning this tournament without him.
No.
Like they're not.
No.
Like he literally, his teammates played well. They played good.
Great.
They turned up. But Hydra's contribution was like, he's the reason they won the tournament. I mean, he just slapped everybody. So right now, you have to give it to Hydra. He's the season MVP, in my opinion. I think I speak for you. I think it's your opinion as well.
Yeah.
I think at this point, Hydra secures the regular season MVP.
And with that,
I think I hear him giggling.
Perfect segue. We've got the MVP with us today.
You'll turn that camera on.
Mr. Hydra.
Wait, you guys don't see me?
Now I see you. Look at you.
What's up, man? Thank you for joining us. I heard that you haven't slept yet.
I haven't said.
Goodness gracious.
Look kind of tired. You can tell.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sacrificing sleep for the breakdown. We owe you one.
No problem.
Absolutely. Let's get right into the questions, man. First off, congratulations again.
First off, I don't fucking hate you, okay?
Yeah, we don't
you
hate you at all.
me.
What?
We love you.
Let me hear the gas. Let me hit the gas now.
What? Let you hear the gas?
Yeah.
Oh, you get it. My first question.
You want to blow smoke up your ass?
Here's my first
question.
question.
Man, you're a regular season MVP. I'll blow all the smoke up your ass that you want.
How does it feel to be the major MVP and potentially the season MVP, which I don't even think it's potential anymore. I think you are the season MVP. How does it feel, man? It's got to feel good.
It feels good. I mean, I've been working a lot. I've been trying to grind and going 10 hours a day at the office and just literally just playing the whole day, playing AIDS, working on my Cindy.
Oh my gosh. Internal temp
way.
high.
Oh my god. Hold on.
Did your camera just die on us?
Yes.
Listen, it's okay. Listen, take your time. You can't make it up. We got plenty of time because I can sit here and talk to you all day. Take your time. While you
I
fix
don't know why it's doing this.
That's okay.
We can still hear you. It's like Danny Phantom.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Translucent.
So we will just continue right on. Zen, go ahead.
Yeah, so talking about you as an individual, as a player, your communication has improved a lot. How much more comfortable are you now compared to when you first got started? Obviously now you found your footing. When you first come into the league, there was a lot of talk about your communication and the language barrier. And now just talking to you, your English has improved so much. How much more comfortable are you now, playing at the highest level?
I mean, just my camera is back, by the way.
It's back?
And yeah, it's back.
Welcome back.
And I'd say, I mean, when I first joined the league, I've never speak to actual Americans or even English people before. so it was like kind of like super hard to like, you know, like understand like Clay, Mac, and Asim. Like they all of them have like different accents.
Yeah.
And that was just like kind of hard, you know. Like I had like zero vocabulary. I was speaking French like with my old teammates too, you know. So
And now look at him now. I mean, it's
I,
incredible.
Yeah, no, you sound great, man.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've been like watching like movies in English. I had like thousands of apps on my phone, like just like in English, like doing things. Like I've been really working on it.
So it hasn't just been a COD grind. He's been also
no,
trying to learn
dude,
our language.
Dude, that's what's crazy because like
while doing it.
Because like, okay, for any other player in the league, their extra reps is playing 8s at night. His is learning the fucking language.
He's on Rosetta fucking Stone.
It's like he's constantly working. See, listen, this is what you want. I'll gas you up now, okay? I'll gas you up. He's laying in bed, and it's like he's constantly working because he's on Duolingo, learning English while playing 8s. Did I steal your joke?
Bro, he's on Rosetta Stone.
Is that an app?
Yeah. You don't know Rosetta Stone?
No.
It's the same thing as Duolingo.
You too fine to be laying down in bed alone. Oh, I can teach you how
Paco, obviously, tell us about your journey from France to here now. Obviously,
I mean,
go ahead. I'll let you take it.
Oh, so no, keep going. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to ask because obviously the language barrier, I'm sure cultural differences as well. Just explain like your journey to us from when you were playing Challengers to now, because I'd love to hear it. I haven't heard it.
I mean, it's a whole different life. I mean, you know, I was living with my mom back in France. I was going to school at first. I was playing after. I was not doing my homework. I was, you know, I was just trying to like play, grind. And now it feels like, it doesn't feel like a job, but it feels like, you know, I'm living by myself. Or I'm living with Caesar. But, you know, like I don't have my parents. I don't have like all of my friends back in France. And yeah, it feels like a whole new life, if that makes sense. I don't even speak my own language.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't see my family, all of that stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm sure that's hard being so far away.
Yeah, no.
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a similar question. I was going to ask like, how much do you miss home? How different is it? And then like, do you still get to like, do you make time to talk to, you know, the people from home, your family, your friends? Like, do you have like a schedule where it's like once every week you do a call? Like, what is it like trying to balance it? Because I don't think any player in the league has the same... Pred too, yeah. So Pred, okay, yeah. So the new guns, like the new up-and-coming
players from London, I mean...
Yeah, but London, they speak
oh my God.
English.
Yeah,
so
fair.
It's like, you know, Pred speaks English. I feel like he's an anomaly in the sense where it's a different, like it's literally like the culture is a lot different. And I guess my question is like, do you still talk to them a lot? Do you do your best to talk to them? Kind of the same question.
I mean, the only like, obviously I have like difficulties to talk to them because like, so back in France, we have like 7 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So like right now it's probably like super late at night already. So my mom's probably sleeping. You know, she go work at 7 a.m. tomorrow. She doesn't really like, you know, have time to like talk. She works a lot, like 12 hours a day too. So yeah, it's kind of hard like to talk to.
Yeah. Well, I gotta ask, what would you personally give your team's recent success to? Because that middle part of the season obviously gets a little bit rocky for you guys, but now you guys are back on top. Have you guys been doing anything differently in the camp, or has it just been grinding away like usual and this time it just worked out for you?
I mean, I feel like our recently scrims before the Major 5 has been really, really good. We've been really trying. So if I'm talking about myself, I've been trying to like work about like most of the timings on the map, most of my breakoffs, watching a lot of SNDs, watching like what's going on the map, watching a ton of VODs with Troy, with Javed, and all of my teammates. We've been going to the office at like 10 a.m., you know, like 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
Hell yeah.
And going from 9 a.m. to like 8, I would say 8 p.m. most of the times, because we got 3 sets of scrims.
That's what took me out.
Zinni hates the triple set, Paco.
That's what took
He
me
hates
out.
it.
The third sets got to me. I mean, after a decade-long third sets, I'm fucking out of here. I was lying to my coaches saying, yeah, I'm down. I was praying. One of my teammates
It
was
gets
like,
chalked.
I was praying. The internet went out somewhere, but
the amateur team chalks it.
that's good insight, not talking Jamie.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to lie. I mean, most players in this league would be bitching if they had to show up to the facility at 9 or 10 a.m. and then leave at 8 p.m. because it is a lot of work, especially if you have a bad day of scrims or, you know, on the surface level, you know, you're playing video games for a living, which isn't really true. I mean, you're competing at the highest level for a living. You're watching film. You're watching VOD. So the fact that you guys are doing this, and obviously it pays off, but it's like, it's underrated, I guess, or underappreciated how hard that actually is to do, and like do that consistently. So the fact that you guys are doing it, I mean, that's great to know.
All props. I mean,
yeah, because
it's a lot.
That is a grind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, playing 15 hours a day is not that fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more like
It was fun.
It's fun, but like
it was
if
fun
you
in
do it
World
like
at War.
2-3 weeks in a row, like
Some
it's
days
getting
it's-
like.
I'll tell you when it was fun. COD 4, MW3.
Yeah. Now you're getting sound whore.
Like now there's no red
sight.
dots. Like it's definitely a lot tougher now just based on the way the games are made. But yeah, thank you. I was gonna ask, like, I've asked pretty much every single person who comes on the same question. What's your routine like? Like, what are you doing if you're not practicing? I know right now it's like champs time and
Sounds like they're only practicing.
you're only practicing, but like, I guess, how do you decompress? Like, what do you do? Do you go for walks? Do you watch TV? Like, what do you do when you're not playing? Like, what's your go-to?
If I'm not playing, I'm probably asleep, or
Okay.
I'm showering. You know,
Okay,
or
yeah.
like
Dude,
I'm
they're
doing
grinding.
all those stuff, and then I'm just going back to my setup. To be honest, I'm not really doing anything except just playing. And if I'm not playing 8, I'm probably in a private match by myself with music, running around the map, finding like
Yeah, I had to retire.
all of those like.
Yeah, I
you know,
had to
things.
retire.
had to.
I had to retire.
I mean, it shows a lot. I mean,
After hearing the way you're talking, dude, it was my
I'm the-
time to go.
yeah.
Because
I'm
holy
kind of the
fuck.
type of guy for my team, like going like by myself, like finding like all of those spots, like settings and all of this.
You're like
like-
Shotzi for OpTic.
Yeah.
Because that's all that now Kyler, that's all they do. They run around, they find shit.
Yeah,
Basically the same
Yeah.
thing.
yeah. I'm the type of player like this too.
Hell yeah.
So
I got
what's-
a pretty loaded
sorry.
one for you.
Go ahead.
If you weren't the MVP of the season, which in our eyes you are, and I'm sure a lot of others, who would you give it to and why? Can't be on your team. That's kind of a bad question because he can't give out free gas.
Yeah, the thing you know, it's champs in 2 weeks. I can do that.
That's what I'm saying.
I
It's a
can't
bad
guess
question. Never
someone.
mind. Don't answer it.
Everyone else sucks.
No, you know, I have to say, Abiz is pretty good.
Yeah.
That kid's good.
He's shooting back. He's shooting back for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
Abizi.
kid's always
So-
shooting back.
Abizi because
I mean,
he's shooting
phase, all of those phase guys, obviously, like they're like really good. Like Scrap. I won't say like there is like a better than others. I feel like because everyone has like their own tournaments where they are like popping off.
Yeah.
MC, Simp, even this major Simp was like
Gotcha.
Simp was insane.
Yeah.
Simp was insane this
You
major.
know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say I mean Abizi
Abizi.
for sure. Yeah.
He's the runner-up for me behind you.
Yeah, no. I mean, in order right now, I think you're my MVP, and then Abizi's second. Third is tough because you're looking at like Scrap, Octane. Top 2 is you and Abe. What's it like?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to segue into a new question. Yeah, talk to me about your coaches a bit because you mentioned how you're grinding with them. Like how impactful have Troy and D-Real been to like your personal success and the team's success? Like, do you attribute a lot of the success to them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Troy is a grinder. Like, dude. Even Javed, like people probably don't see it, but he's here at 8 a.m. every single day watching VODs, like from like the best teams, like giving us like new strats for like the third says for like the S&D and all of this. And Troy, I mean, like Troy is amazing. If I'm being honest, like
Michaels is great.
It's okay.
I had the opportunity to work with him as well, and it was a sad day whenever he was gone. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
For me,
Oh yeah.
very sad.
Dude, he is amazing, and those guys like really like they give us a lot of like I don't know how to really explain that. You see, like my English is not that good yet.
That's
Okay.
okay.
You're doing fucking great.
Yeah, you're doing great.
You're doing too good.
Yeah, you're doing
See,
great.
that's the gas I'm trying to hear, you know?
Dude, no. Like, you actually hurt me. Dude, I can't. He gets in the fight, goes, you hate me. And I was like, what? I was like, no, I do not. Yeah, I gas you every single opportunity I get. It's just, well, I will say, what's impressive is how you guys, like, bounced back. Because you start off super hot. Then you guys go through some hiccups. Like,
Major
you guys...
2 was kind of bullshit. They had some travel issues. I know people scream excuses whenever you say things that happen.
That's
to
a valid
players.
excuse.
Yeah,
I mean, that travel day was disastrous. But you guys sort of, you start with this high, and then you guys hit this low. And a lot of teams, when they struggle like that, they lose faith in one another. Like, they lose faith in the staff. So, like, it's impressive that you guys were able to stay confident in one another and, like, respect one another enough, because a lot of teams, the downfall... Everything's cool when you're winning. Everything's cool when you're playing good. When you guys are playing bad, it's like that's when everything starts happening. The personality clash. So you guys, the fact that you guys were able to remain such like a strong core is definitely impressive.
Yeah. So I got one more question for you. So obviously going into the tournament, nobody was really saying New York is going to come out and win this one. Did that help your guys' mentality going in, being the underdog? You guys obviously lose the first round in a close game to Toronto. Like, did that help fuel the fire a little bit to come back from losers one? Because that's a long road.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we know. So as a team, we knew that we were like really good and we were super prepared for this major. Wants to throw a game. Like he was saying before the major, he was like, dude, you guys don't even understand how confident I am right now. Like we even put Wardy playing like, a match with us because we were just like,
I will eat my words on that.
I'm going to throw him under the bus. He didn't like that one. I said, who gives a fuck? Let him showcase.
I'm not going to lie. Yes,
I will.
I will admit, please explain. But I will admit I was totally wrong about that one.
Yeah. So how we see the things, right? So at the beginning of the season, we got Wardy, we got all of our team, our coach staff and all of this. And at the beginning of the year, Wardy was going to the office with us every single day, trying to like grind with us and all of this. And so we told him, when we are getting the champs, like we are securing champs, right?
Yeah.
And at Major 5, we got already the winner bracket. We like secured the winner's bracket too.
Yeah.
We told him that he's gonna play one match. And
I like that.
So what happened is I think we won against, I think
Boston? Was it Boston? It was Boston, I think.
Yeah. We played Boston with him. And we that was literally just for him and like making like him happy, because he really wanted to try like to play with us, how it is to like to play with pros, against pros, with the intensity with the match, and all of this, You
know what? A promise is a promise. I like that. And he's a better man than me because I'm trying to sabotage. If I'm the substitute, I'm unplugging people's shit.
What do you mean?
I'm just joking. Like,
you're fucking sick.
I was kidding. Like if I'm Wardy, I'm trying to play. I'm fucking unplugging kids' controller, aim assist off.
I liked the decision, honestly. I like that obviously New York, big ups to that camp. They're giving, obviously their substitute, he's with them all year. I'm sure helping them out. They give him an opportunity to go out there, showcase his talents, and he had a pretty good match. I think he went positive. Like, he had a good match.
I will admit I was wrong. Because
he's really good.
From where I was sitting, it was confusing, in my opinion, to like, you have a huge tournament coming up. In my head, it made more sense to play with your full roster and like, just sort of get as much practice as possible, then go into the major. But it didn't seem to affect it. I was wrong. I have no problem admitting that. And
I don't think you were wrong. I think that's a valid point too. Like that was a really big major. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I think it just go both ways.
Absolutely. You got one more question? Or no?
No, I don't. I mean, I think we asked him everything. I mean, it was great to hear about like, the transition from France, your takeover, I guess, and it's okay. Don't worry about the camera.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
We know what you look like.
It was going in and out, but it was great.
Yeah, just hearing few players or a lot of people, if you don't actually hear it from your mouth themselves, can underrate how difficult it is to do what you did and to literally the culture switch, the language barrier, like. And then to come here and win championships is very, very difficult. So this is the gas that I guess you wanted, and I have no problem giving it. You're my regular season MVP.
Same.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Because it is fucking great to see.
Yeah. Congratulations again on the major win, on being our MVP, of being the stage MVP. I mean, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And good luck to you at Champs. Thanks for coming on the show. And
hey, Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
You did
Of
great,
course.
by the way.
Yeah,
your
thank you for
English is
joining
very
us.
good.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Paco.
See you soon, guys.
What a fucking guy. He's my second favorite now,
You love him?
behind Salium.
Behind Cell? I mean, I don't think anybody
players.
will. Oh, yeah.
All OpTic players,
Yeah,
and then
let's change
Cell.
that tune.
It's all of OpTic, and then it's Cell, and then it's Hydra.
Absolutely. Great kid. Honestly, great English. So, great interview.
Yeah, no, that is, dude. That is it's crazy.
It's time for my favorite.
Yes, it's your favorite, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to his favorite, the deep dive. He has a stacked cast for you guys today. He really built the list. Let me tell you, he showed me it.
We got about 4 things from each day. So we're going to go through, break them down. You guys know how it is. Obviously, we just had Hydra on for our 1v2 segment. We're going to take a look at a little 2v4. Riley, come on over to me. We're going to take a look at a little 2v4 that I thought was rather impressive from the major. This is Toronto versus New York. This is the first time they played, and I love this. People say 2v4s are pretty easy on Hotel. This is why. Hydra finds one top bed. Kiz finds one. They both get lost. Hydra finds another. Bombs down. 15 seconds. They just play both their ones.
I was worried he's going to get this defused, but no, they get there just in time. And yeah, I think when you plant the bomb on Hotel, if you are in a 2v4, it just comes down to a couple 1v1 wins. Like right there, you see like they're split. One's bed, one's like check-in desk. They each find a kill. And then Ultra's in a weird spot where it's like you have
to run at them.
It's another 1v1. Like it's a weird one.
They both get 2 1v1s. Hydra gets one more 1v1. The round's over. But now we said something good from New York. Now we got to say something bad because this was a bottlage out of New York. 9 versus 19 live count. Only 1 tick on B. If New York makes probably 2 kills here, this
done.
map is more than over, or probably over. So Caesar gets 1. Obviously, Hixie gets 1. Kismet gets 1. But then this is when it kind of falls apart. They kill them. They clear their bedroom control. Now it's a 7 versus 16. So right here, Toronto looks beat, right?
Yep.
But they find any amount of kills at this point in this, it's done. They obviously find Hydra on the first blood. And now they're just stacked on point. They don't even have time to go. They just get through mid, hop on, and you could see the excitement out of Toronto.
Yeah. And somehow Toronto has maintained like their dominance in Hotel control. Like somehow, some way, they are still consistently capturing B after capturing A. And you'd think that teams would catch on, or maybe I'm not sure what Ultra's doing, but it just seems like somehow, some way, everything goes their way in that transition on that map. It's impressive, but yeah, definitely, I mean, a tough one from New York. Here we got a 5-5, a round 11 alert.
We break down all round 11s here on the breakdown. This is Boston, obviously doing a little bit of a default setup. Kremp, 13-6 right now. The boy was out there fighting, and talk about a crucial round 11 in the tournament. This is to stay in winner's bracket. This is for Minnesota to clutch their spot at champs. Like, this round 11 had a lot of implications, and Vegas was somewhere absolutely praying. I just wanted to highlight this because we were saying how good of a play it was whenever it was happening. Fame just takes all the space in the world here at Double Desk. So obviously we're going to see this play out a little bit. I'm going to skip forward just because not really much happens. But Beans, there's only 30 seconds left. They got to start going.
And he's not looking here. I mean, he's not expecting, if anything, in a 5-5 round 11, you're expecting both teams to be shitting themselves. You think Beans is sniping top plat, or he has an AR holding off angle.
And Wake doesn't get that kill.
Fame.
If Wake gets that kill on Fame, he keeps him one shot. This round looks so different, but now you can see there's 15 seconds left.
There's no time.
Boston have to grab bomb, plant it at A. Like, there's no way that they're winning that round.
Yeah, that was too slow of a round. And what's crazy is maybe a different tournament for Boston because they end up placing last. They lose to London in 3-1 fashion.
Yeah.
And they were 1 round away from securing top 6 and advancing to play Florida.
And now people
in winners round 2. And Florida, compared to round 1, they looked shaky. So who knows? All I know is if that round 11 goes differently.
And now people are kind of on Boston's ass. I mean, even we've been on Boston's ass. We've been saying Boston right now, obviously there's a couple teams that had bad tournaments, including OpTic. But Boston looks like maybe the easiest round 1 matchup. At least right now. From this point, I know people are going to spam Jinx and all that stuff, but next up, we've got this. So I want you to take the front on this because you were a little bit aggravated with this play from Boston.
Stop fucking pushing out P2, man. It happened to them so many times this tournament. A player's pushed out P2. If that player is pushed, or if he's holding that stairs corner, open stairs, he's holding that player's cross. The player on hill can watch his own open.
And then this was an ASIM gets the 4-piece. Like, it spirals out of control for Boston at this point.
They're pushing out P2, and it puts so much pressure on that guy because if he doesn't get the kill, the guy in the hill is a sitting duck. So the guy P2 dies, the guy in the hill dies, and now you're in the death trap, which is considered probably the worst spawn trap in the game when you're spawning back gate, back P3 area.
Yeah.
You gotta just, I'd much rather play a tight setup, hold the guy's cross on hill, that guy holds his own open. That way, at the very least, you should secure 1 or 2 kills.
Yeah.
Right there, it's just a full-on breakdown.
It falls apart, and
no
that's a crucial
intended.
moment in that map. Crucial moment for Boston. They end up losing that series 3-1 to London.
And that's not the only time it happened, too. That's what bothers me.
Correct.
It's a consistent thing for a lot of teams where it's like, you can have the lead, and if you lose that P5 and get trapped, you're toast.
Next up, I hate to do it. I hate to show this one. This was OpTic's opportunity to finally get something going, go up 2-0 in this control, potentially start the reverse sweep.
And we thought this was a cap right here too. I mean, we thought this was looking good.
We thought this round was done. There's 5 lives remaining. There's 50 seconds. Right here, we were kind of saying, go, like fucking sprint forward. You have a 5 live advantage, force trades here. Like, get on that fucking horse.
Yeah, the problem is, so you have a 10v5, you have 45 seconds left, but
you got to force trades.
They made
this is 15 seconds done, and nobody's gotten in a fight.
Essentially, they made it a 4v4 S&D round. Like, the time ended up being irrelevant because they didn't actually just take risk. I'd actually rather them all just sprint forward and try to force a kill.
And Shotzi ends up getting 2 here at the end of this.
Rather than slow play like that. But it was just too late.
But they still lose it. Yeah, now
I mean,
it's
just too late. They're forced to sprint. They're forced to face smash. I think, obviously, in hindsight, it's different when you're playing in the actual match. At that point, you have a little bit of time to just go around, and then you can face smash in the end-all, be-all. Yep. But, yeah, just a little bit too slow, and unfortunately, Thieves end up, winning that map.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got a round 11 alert, ladies and gentlemen, and what a crucial one it was. 5-5 Seattle versus Vegas. This was crucial for Vegas. They were, obviously, this was their match to keep their hopes alive, and it's to go up 2-0. And I believe they end up clutching this. I love this credit angle from Standy here.
What a sponsor angle. And don't forget that I believe Seattle was up 5-3 on this map too. So the 5-3 curse strikes again. Standy finds 2. And I remember Hector, we were on the watch party. He's like, go, go, go. I was like, no, Standy, you stand still. Like there's no room for error. You're in a 4v2. He finds 2. He plays his life. TJ finds 1. Standy finds the last one. Just a monumental round win for Vegas,
Big
but
time.
Unfortunately,
that match didn't matter.
Yeah, it couldn't. It wasn't enough.
Next up, we've got London LAT. Another kind of crazy end to an Al-Bagra. This was the P2, and right here, it looks like London is in a good spot to win the game, but.
This was like a crazy comeback too, wasn't it?
Crazy comeback.
This is what we were like, what the hell is going on? London is about to do it. It comes down to a final wave on P2 if I'm not
comes down to the final wave. They get a blood there. Obviously, they get 2 kills, but right here, trades start coming in. Draza gets 1. Draza gets 2. Now it gets hairy because now it's just a trade fest. Nasty plays the back a little bit too long there because he's worried about someone pinching. You can't really knock him for that. And it just ends up falling apart for him. Thieves end up breaking through the front. Obviously, last-ditch effort here. 5 seconds remaining. But London just has to hold Thieves just have to hold P3 now, and that's the game.
Yep. Yeah, that was...
bang out.
I think we were all rooting for London there because that comeback, I mean, at one point we were like, oh, this map's over. Next thing you know, it's tied, and London has them spawning P3, and you're like, what is going on? But
absolutely,
Thieves, they clutch up. What's this? Is this a round 11 again?
Round 11 alert. London versus Thieves yet again. Right here, Envoy. They set the trap. Draza runs down mid lane. Envoy hits through checkers at the same time. They catch 2 in the back. I mean, this round was over.
Could have been 2-0 London.
Could have been 2-0 London.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking for those boys, but we got to show every round 11, and that one was a very quick one.
Yeah, so what do we got here?
This one I wanted to talk about because this was whenever we were saying that Vegas sounded flustered. They looked flustered because look at this. No, we were saying this is when they didn't block Milk, and I was screaming, somebody turn the fuck around. Like, they have to be on top of that. Your champ's hopes are on the line. Nobody's watching Milk. Hydra comes around, gets a free 2-piece. It's the start of the match, but this showed me right here that they were a little bit like flustered coming into this match. They were a little bit nervous. Nerves were running high.
Yeah, their comms didn't sound great either.
And they sounded a little bit frantic.
They sounded flat. They sounded frustrated. Yeah, just unfortunately, that map was a lot of blunders. I remember it like it was yesterday because it was just a few days ago. They lost a few, like a P4 rotation that they had kills and they got rebroke. A P3 they didn't hold. It was definitely a weird map, and Vegas could have capitalized and started off 1-0, but they get 3-0'd, and that's where the Vegas miracle run ends. Seattle was at home with their foam fingers watching, and luckily for Seattle, they end up making champs, but Vegas It was a heartbreaker.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got a round 11 alert. Yet again, it's FaZe and Toronto. Another just huge situation here. I believe Toronto ends up clutching this up in the round 11.
They do, but it gets crazy.
It gets crazy.
It goes down like a 2v2, and there's snaking on the trucks and slashers snaking, and it was fucking chaos on Embassy.
Hixie gets first blood near sign. It's a Beezy. He was palm trees, and now this is where shit just starts popping off. Obviously, FaZe trying to push up P2. They end up ending at this A-bomb site. We're going to fast forward just a little bit. Hixie, remember, he cracks the door open. Simp ends up getting that information, gets the trade. Move a little bit forward. Simp ends up getting another. Now, right here, you're thinking, FaZe is in a good spot. They got Simp, obviously snaking this Godheady. They got Slasher on the God truck, but Kleenex finds the gap and gets through, and obviously Simp's now in
Simp's head's on a swivel. I mean, he's just snaking, trying to look both ways, scraps on his feet, Ultra tie things up at one. That was a great map to watch.
Next up, here we go. Another FaZe versus Ultra clip right here. Crazy spawn. Watch this.
Oh, this kitchen?
This was the crazy fucking spawn. So obviously spawns are both ways. FaZe spawning out. Look at that. Look at number 1. I mean, 8's blocking, so it makes sense.
But 8 spawns there, so it's
8 spawns out, which didn't really...
Give me a couple clicks back. Let's get into some ranked play for dummies here.
Here you go. Break it down for me, Tony.
Absolutely. I mean, right now I'm going to wait for kills to go down. Then I'm going to see what spawns are up.
Both sides blocked right now.
Number 2 dies, right? So Simp makes a big kill on kitchen.
So where does number 2 spawn?
Number 8 spawns. But look.
2 spawns double arches.
Pause this.
8 spawns
what the
back
fuck
chandelier.
Is that, dude?
I mean, and then because of that spawn, the number 8 gets 7 spawns couches, 5 spawns kitchen, 1 spawns back kitchen. And this is like crunch time in a game.
Dude, I can't make logic of that.
We're going to play it. FaZe end up coming back. Simp ends up going huge, and they end up winning this map. But just a crazy spawn right there.
That one's tough. I mean, I don't got anything for you.
Absolutely not. Next up.
That's one of those, like, you ever, like, growing up in school, ask your teacher a question, and even they don't know?
Yeah, that's one of those. I don't even know what the hell's going on.
They start pulling shit out of their ass, and they're just like, I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
That
Next
one's
up,
weird.
We've got the round 10, Ultra versus New York. This is where they get it done. It's a 4v3 retake. New York obviously has less numbers. Here. A big blunder from Toronto here. This was their chance to go round 11 with the champs.
I don't like, dude, they just...
Priest gets one.
They
Kleenex
played scared. Like, they gave up Barber Alley.
Kleenex wanted it. He ran it. Priest.
No, but I meant like the Barber Alley. Like, they kind of just let New York hit up Barber Alley. I would have preferred like a double team there, and at least... Because, I mean, at that point, like, you flip the coin. Like, you let them take close green, and then it's just a timing fest and like a camera fest.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you had a player weak back alley. Like, you had some sort of information. You give up all information, and it just becomes an all-out fucking fuck fest.
And Kismet wins a fucking
God.
huge...
He's back.
Kismet wins a huge fight. Solidifies the series. They get a freaking championship because of that moment right there. Next up, this was a bang out. We got the P3 to P4 FaZe versus New York. Map number 1 of the grand final. This was crazy. Yep. I mean, back and forth, just trades. This 17 seconds probably felt like an absolute eternity to these players because obviously New York going to secure some of this old time. But this is where things get crazy. FaZe has the rotation to P4 at the moment, or they have the numbers. New York has the first people there, but FaZe finds those initial kills. They get the scrap time, which I don't even know if I agree with them going for that scrap time. It's 3 seconds, but they end up getting it done.
Ends up working. And then at this point, I mean, New York is forced to face smash FaZe. They're posted up playing corners. Pick your corners. It's 4 corners. Good luck.
Yeah, 4 corners.
FaZe clutch up map 1.
FaZe get map 1. It was an absolute bang out, crazy end to that map. Next up, we've got a crazy Himmelmat offense. FaZe looked unreal on this map all weekend long. Whoopsies. FaZe looked unreal on this map all weekend. This is one of the fastest offenses I've seen, and especially getting it done in the final against the champs. It's impressive right here. So they break off A. They end up getting the blood on Hydra. They end up getting the information on Caesar here because he's weak by nade. Abizi pushes him out, gets a freebie. Now they just run back to point and stack that shit.
And usually it's the other way around. Usually like you're capturing B off break and then capturing A's difficult phase. It's a masterclass. They were 0-3 on Expo going into the weekend.
And they looked insane.
So they looked like the best Expo control team in the tournament.
They
by
get 2
far,
kills,
like,
look.
dominant, and they're just so decisive. Like
it's back-to-back. They end up breaking in.
They do so much with their kills. Also, Priesta had a tough map here. Everyone was talking about it. He drops 3 kills, but
doesn't matter.
What a fucking turnaround, because he 2v4s and wins that huge 1v1 on that Alcilo search.
Huge.
Which I will say was the map.
I will be showing that here.
Sure.
Next clip.
Sorry, I'm a prophet.
Next clip. Shouts out to FaZe. Their Himmelmat looked insane. But yeah, next clip is the round 10.
Oh my! And
New York versus FaZe.
And this is where if FaZe just clutch up this round,
Priest defines the first. This is 2v4 from this point on. This is what was crazy. So Celium said that somebody was calling. He was in pool corner, which is why he cameras that. And obviously Priest just gets the jump on him, shoots him in the side because he cameras the wrong angle.
Oh man! And now it's a 2v2.
This is when all hell breaks loose. Simp finds Caesar. Priest grabs bomb, runs B. He starts tweaking because, like, this is a high-pressure scenario.
You're shitting yourself,
He's
dude.
shitting his pants right now. But so is Abeezy. Like, they're shitting their pants right now up there.
And now it's a 1v1 between former teammates.
And
it's just chaos. It's Abeezy, who at this point was their front runner for MVP. Priesta clutches up, forces round 11, and it's safe to say if FaZe clutch that map up, they probably win 4-2 because they win the next map. Obviously, New York takes it in 7.
Next up, we got the round 11 of the same round. I love this play or the same game. It's the next round. I love this play by New York. They just bang out bomb together. They get a good timing on it, and then this timing goes the way of Hydra as well. Gets the first 2 on the round, and from this point on, they're already on bomb. Like, this shit's over.
What a map. I mean, just the
5-2 comeback.
The most unexpected sequences we've ever seen. Just like, oh man. It was 5-2, right? It was
5-2 comeback.
5-2 FaZe, 2v4, 1v1, Simp, 1v3s, the same map. Like, it was a shit show from New York, followed by a shit show from FaZe. That's one of the best maps we've seen all year long.
That's deep dive for you guys, though. We got about 4 clips from each day. Tried to hammer out some of the better ones that we saw out there. Hope you guys enjoyed that segment. Next up, I'll let you introduce this one because I don't want to say
No. You will introduce Thin Ice.
I do not want to. You will do it.
Introduce Thin Ice.
You will do it.
You will do it.
I will do it.
You will do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week on Thin Ice, OpTic, Texas. Oh, man, it pains me to do this, but we have to do this. Obviously, OpTic, Texas, they come in off the major qualifier. They're 5-0. They're the first team in CDL history to go back-to-back 5-0s in the online qualifiers, and then the event just doesn't go as planned. And don't worry, I asked Dashy, I asked Shotzi. They're cool with it.
I mean, listen, my opinion on the matter is when OpTic loses or when they win, like, there's just so much talk about it. Everyone sort of just
memes it.
OpTic
haters rejoice.
They grasp for straws. They're looking for a reason, a person to blame. This one was just one of those tournaments that you literally have to forget about. They don't show up. They don't play to the potential that everyone was expecting.
Yep.
That they were expecting themselves, and everyone's trying to, find the reason. This is the reason. This is the reason. No. Short-term memory, goldfish. You're finding Dory. This one never happened. It's hard to make sense of things that don't make sense. There is no logical reason.
It doesn't make sense because they looked incredible in the online split, and then they come to the tournament and kind of just have a tough one. Florida obviously play that spoiler that we know Florida can, and they 3-0 them. And dude, when they played Florida looked like the fucking Globetrotters.
They
looked insane. And then the following day, it doesn't do us any favors because Florida gets 0-6 map count to get bounced out of the tournament. So it's like, OpTic had a bad event, a very, very bad event. But the
problem is that's just not enough for people. They need reasons, but the problem is there is no reasons.
Sometimes it happens. It's not like they stopped practicing and took their foot off the pedal. Sometimes you just come out flat. Obviously,
that's competition, man.
It was back to a major with fans. They could have been a little bit rattled up on the stage for their first match, and it goes very quickly. I mean, it was.
Collectively, the reality is this: they didn't look like a cohesive unit.
No,
the kills weren't falling in their favor. It was a lot of staggering,
a lot of running alone.
I think the Florida series was a bit surprising even for them because it seems like they were trying to make up slack individually, where it's like things weren't going their way. Then each player obviously has superstar potential, but Florida also looked like the fucking Avengers. So it wasn't like you can just will your way individually. You had to play as a team,
and that was not happening.
It wasn't their weekend, and that is what it is. Short-term memory, they got to move forward. It's a confusing one. It's just as confusing as Thieves. I mean, when they win the tournament and then they have a terrible stage, like sometimes you're just kind of mind-fucked with what went wrong.
Yeah.
Things went wrong, and now you move forward.
Yeah, pull up that graphic again just to touch on some stats for you guys. I mean, throughout Major 5, they had a .56 team S&D KD, which is insane because their S&D looked incredible. And then they have a .68 in hardpoint, which a lot of people have been saying they're one of the best hardpoint teams in the league. And they just came out, got slammed. Happens.
That's all there is to say about it.
Got slammed, happens, but nobody remembers second. They'll remember 12th unless they win champs.
Champs is the only tournament that people will talk about for years to come.
Yes. So hopefully the boys get their heads on right, come into champs, get a little ring action.
Forget about that one.
They got to forget about it.
That one didn't happen.
If that lingers, then I'm fearful. But if they can just get over it, goldfish it, forget about it, I still have all the utmost hope in our boys to go out there and have a great showing for you guys at champs. They play Boston. Obviously, it's a tough one for you, but no, Boston do not look good either. So,
yeah, I mean, to talk about the first round matchup, you have. So all the talk was who they're going to play, Boston or Rocker. The reality is OpTic should beat both. This team at their peak
people were saying that it doesn't matter. But it does. It does matter, though. It matters.
At their peak, they are the favorites to win championships. Like we saw that going into this tournament. Granted, maybe now, maybe a little. I'm not sure how the pressure is going to be.
Really
like, is it less pressure? Is it more pressure? What do you think it is? Because in
more
that tournament,
pressure, like going into champs, or just right now?
Now, based on that tournament, because like going into that major, everybody just expected them to win, and now for champs, like
I mean,
what do you think it's like no pressure? Like, you know what?
No.
Or do you think it's more pressure now to going into champs?
I think there's a lot of pressure on the team. I mean, they got back-to-back seconds. You know, people have been talking very, very highly. Then they go get 12th. They don't win a map. I mean, this team's probably feeling the pressure right now because people are saying that, you know, these guys are amazing. They should win tournaments, all that stuff. And then if they're not getting those results, like, they'll slowly start chipping away at them. I just hope that internally in the camp, which, I mean, we have obviously insider information, as long as they stay composed, this team at their peak, we've seen what they can do, and they just gotta fix it up.
Short-term memory.
Short-term memory.
That's the way of the road. Sometimes things don't go as planned.
Talk to Ant, talk to Brandon. A lot of things obviously went on during the weekend, and they just got to screw their heads on and get back to it. And I have all the faith in the world.
Luke Cage said, always forward, never backwards.
Absolutely.
Guys, that was thin ice. That was a heartbreaker for us. But
yeah, that one's hard for us to do. I hope people understand that, but we can't be biased on the show. We got to call it how it is.
Correct.
And that's thin ice for the week. Now, let's go to something a little more lighthearted. We're going to rapid fire.
See, now that's a good way to segue from that heartbreaker.
That's why I like doing rapid fire after thin ice, because it's like we got to put someone on blast.
And then we
put ourselves on blast because we're fucking stupid.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? This one will be for 20 gifted.
20 gifted? Okay, so obviously you guys know Tony has been lights out in rapid fire. I'm on a 2 spree, and you received a pie.
Yes, I received a pie.
It was an interesting one nonetheless because
it was a horrible pie. You made me sit there. Oh, I wasn't. I took my pants off after that day. Whenever I got back to the hotel, obviously I had to shower, change. We were going to get dinner, meet everybody out for some drinks. My pants smelled so bad. Like, it was fucking disgusting.
I didn't account for whipped cream melting because in my life I've never given whipped cream the chance to melt because I've always just devoured it when it's in front of me.
It was disgusting.
And the problem was I was like, I didn't want to get it on your glasses and the headset, so I was stalling.
Yeah, thanks.
And then you caught on because the chat. So I told the chat you were in the bathroom and we planned it and I said chat spam W. And I thought that they would spam W just to get rid of all the messages, and then they'd go back to normal.
Yeah.
They were just spamming W throughout an entire map, and you're like, why the fuck are they spamming W? Are you about to pie me?
No, because they stopped spamming it. They stopped spamming W. That's when I got suspicious. Then they started re-spamming it.
And then they looked, and then you looked behind my chair, and you saw the cream pie, and you just started fucking losing it.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yes.
You can't make that up. But anyways.
Let's get into it. You want to go first?
You want to ask me first? Sure. This is for 20 gifted. Granted, still owes me.
These questions are easy, by the way.
He still owes me 100 gifted.
I still owe 100 gifted.
I'm redeeming that in Vegas.
I got my first punishment, which was the pie.
Oh, these are really easy.
Yeah, I got my first punishment, which was the pie. Now I owe him 100 gifted. If I lose this, I'll owe him 80 because this is for 20 gifted.
Dude, he gifted you here.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask first.
Oh my God, go ahead.
I'm gonna ask first.
You're gonna win this. This
All
is
right,
so
Riley,
free.
3, 2, 1. What was the squirrel trophy for Major 5 holding?
Nut.
More specific.
What?
Doesn't count. What team won the Challengers Open in Toronto?
Wobble Bobs.
Name last week's team of the week.
Skip.
Who was OpTic's first match at Champs?
Boston.
How many 3-0 sweeps happened at Major 5?
12.
Jesus! Which 2 partners provided gift cards for Major 5 giveaways?
Corduroy and Perfio.
Yep. Which team eliminated Surge from the tournament on Friday?
Vegas.
Who had the lowest amount of kills this season heading into the major? That's insane.
Marky B.
Yes. What was the OpTic Nation exclusive giveaway prize last week?
PS5.
Which team set the all-time record for most lives remaining in a control round?
Skip.
Okay, well, that's it. Do you want to go back and maybe try one of the ones you skipped? Last week's team of the week, you might as well give it a shot. You have 6 seconds.
Temp.
No.
I'm beat. No.
All right. So how many did you get? 7?
I got 8.
8?
I got 8. But dude, if you don't, I promise you're beating me here.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, I said a nut. What kind
Diamond nut, golden nut.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Dude, I got 9 right.
No, you got 8.
Dude, what?
You got 8.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
All right. When I say go, Riley, 3, 2, 1, go. What was the name we gave to the major trophy?
Alvin.
Yes. Which player did the Toronto crowd have beef with at the major?
Draza.
What was our go-to breakfast food at Tim Hortons?
The farmer's wrap.
Yeah. How many game 5/game 7s did we see at the major?
3.
No.
4.
Yes. Which celebrity's voice did Alvin use to talk?
Snoop Dogg.
Yes. Name one of the types of Oakleys we gave away at the major.
Holbrook.
Yes. Which team won their first match on land at Major 5?
First match on land?
Yes.
London.
Yes. How long was Karma gone to the bathroom on Sunday when we timed him?
16 minutes. 15 minutes.
Nope. What was Hex's...
Yes, it was.
No,
15, 16.
No, it was not. What was Hex's favorite pasta spot in Toronto?
Taroni.
Yes. Which team had the best coin flip win record this season heading into the major?
Oh, what?
Oh my God, I could win right here if you get this wrong.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I got
Texas.
8. This you have 7.
Texas.
Wrong. The answer is FaZe. I have defeated you yet again.
No,
I
you
got 8
haven't.
right. You got
I got
7
8.
right. No.
I only got 2 wrong.
You got Alvin, Draza, Farmer's Rap for Snoop Dogg, Holbrook, London, Taroni. We tied. Fuck! No, I win because it was a nut. It was a nut, dude.
That's
I win.
10 gifted off, 90 gifted.
No. Are you crazy?
Interest. I can make it 20 if you want.
Nope.
All right. Then it's 20. Interest.
I win. I said a nut. You said it has to be a diamond nut or a golden nut?
Diamond nut, golden nut.
Dude, Riley, can I have an official ruling on this?
Yeah, it should be diamond nut or golden nut.
Oh my God,
That's
dude.
fucking right, Riley.
Yeah, that's
Thank
biased.
you.
That's biased to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we tied. So how do we settle this? Does Riley speak a fucking question right now?
I think you first one to get
The first one to get one of the questions that we didn't answer?
Okay, so I'll do the 10th one. Which team set the all-time record? You do the one who won the most flips.
Wait, what team set the all-time record?
All-time record for most lives remaining in a control round.
Oh.
And we'll go back and forth until one of us gets it right.
Which team set the record for... repeat
I'll
the
let
question?
you go first.
Okay.
Which team set the all-time record for most lives remaining in a control round?
FaZe?
No.
Okay.
Now my turn. What was the question?
Which team had the best coin flip win record this season heading into the major?
LAT.
No.
All right. Go again. I've said LAT in Texas.
This one's got to be deceiving. What team set... It's not FaZe. Who did I say first?
FaZe and... Who did you say first?
I don't know.
I don't know. Now it's... Now
Is the answer Boston?
No. Is the answer FaZe?
It is.
Yes! Winner!
Who was it?
LAG.
Oh,
LAG.
fuck you.
29 remaining when the round ended. NYSL won that round.
What? Say it again?
NYSL.
Say
They
it
had
again?
29 lives remaining when the round ended, and New York won the round. So they must have just fucking capped instantly. It only got... How does that happen?
Wait.
What the fuck happened to that? I gotta watch that one back because that sounds insane. They had 29 remaining when the
LAG
round
did?
ended. Yes.
LAG had 29 lives remaining.
And New York won the
round.
What were they doing? Playing with their feet in the back of the map?
Was it like a fortress control where they were just camping?
I have no idea. Goodness gracious. I don't even know how that fucking works.
Dude, that's
But
horseshit.
That's 80 gifted now, 20 taken off the top. Sure, that's
You will
100
gift 100 to see your friend winning.
That is $100 saved. For
Then it will
Scump.
go to show you're an asshole.
Yes, I'm an asshole, but guess what?
Damn. All right, well, that's rapid fire. You guys know it. You love it. You fucking somehow win. I still think my nut answer was a great answer, and I feel like I was frauded out of this one. Nonetheless, I've won so much recently that I can just hold this L.
I'm going to say, coming up next, we have our next segment of the show, which is prize picks.
And I won that.
Let me give you some information, Zin. You did win that. So I believe, the last two, so just to let you guys know, the last major and champs, we actually can't do prize picks in either of those states. So you by default
I win.
have won.
And that means what I have won is I get to give $10,000 to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America.
Correct.
So there was no real loser. I will have bragging rights.
Riley, don't show my screen either.
I will have bragging rights. But yeah, prize picks. I mean, you guys know we were loving it all season long.
So Riley, you can bring it to me now. So just to show you guys why he won, obviously we started with $1,000 in our balances.
Yep.
This is my account. I'm at 170. You can see it up here. And then going down here to Zin's account, he's at 225. He edged me out by $55.
Yep, Tony wins.
You're donating $10,000 to who?
The Anxiety and Depression Association of America. Very excited about that.
It's beautiful.
Thank you to Prize Picks for giving us that opportunity. It was a nice, fun, friendly competition.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was no real loser, so that's great.
Yep.
And I will say you can use code methods now to sign up for Prize Picks.
Code methods.
METHODZ for up to a $100 deposit match on your first deposit.
Correct. And you can win a potential of 25 times what you put in. You can make picks on a variety of sports and esports, the NFL, NBA, COD, CSGO, and it's super easy to make, very quick to make picks and fast withdrawals, putting picks on more or less than. So shouts out to Prize Picks for sponsoring and giving us a fun segment, a little competition again inside the show. But that's going to do it. Zinni has won Prize Picks for the year. So congratulations, Zin.
Good work, Tony.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to announce this one, Zin?
Sure, guys. Welcome to the top 10 plays of the major. This one was nearly impossible. We had over 25, 30, 35 plays to go over, and we somehow narrowed that down to 10. So some plays that maybe you're expecting could be missing, but I think we found a good 10. These were flashy. They were impactful. We got a turn on. It's a pretty fun one. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the top 10 plays of Major 5.
We're starting it off early, nasty here. You didn't miss anything. 1, 2, and then a soft turn on. Well, he didn't end up shooting, but
and this one just looks sick. They're playing Boston. It was a close match. It's one of those things where Boston were the favorites.
Correct.
And London, everyone was kind of rooting for the underdog, and London actually get it done. And
but
Boston
this one's
bottle
Tyler Fellow Johnson, and it pains me to put this one in.
Yeah,
because this was against the boys. Yeah, he was shooting. This was the Himmelmack Control in our winners round 1 matchup, and he just starts going crazy. He's on a 5 streak right now. Throws down the trophy, gets over to a snake box. Obviously, this is hard to deal with. Boom, headshotted. He took out his son, Dan Ghosty.
Yeah, and Fellow just shooting nukes there. Number 8, ladies and gentlemen, this one, I mean, it's a turn on. It's Reese Vivid. It's one of those where we don't really get to see many of those very often these days.
Let's go back.
Sorry, Scraps.
That one was quick. We got to rewatch that one. I'm sorry, Maddie.
Because
goodness.
I mean,
this is a hard turn on.
Yeah,
doesn't happen often. It looked like he stopped shooting though. But
yeah.
Here, we got Yuli Ace.
Yeah, Yuli. I mean, listen, London, obviously their year did not go very well, but I think every single one of these players had highlight moments, and this is Yuli against the defending world champions, major champions this year. Yuli popping off, showing what he's...
champions. They were Major 4 champions. They were the defending champs at this tournament.
Yeah, so Yuli, I mean, he's showing what he's made of. I feel like a lot of these London players, it's weird to get a grasp on them. It's weird to understand how good they actually are because collectively the team has underperformed.
And I thought this was crazy. He hears Kenny right here.
Yeah, Yuli just, he pops off. It's
I don't know if he heard him climb up. I don't know how he heard him right there.
The entire place was rooting for London, and this could have been 2-0 London. Like, that first map gets crazy on Fortress. This map was nuts. London, they just can't get it done. But Yuli with a big ace.
Correct. Should have been 2-0 London, in my opinion. Next, we've got number 6, and this is the 4-piece from Ace after the P2 or the P5 breakdown for Boston.
It cuts off.
I don't know why that cut off, but it was supposed to be a 4-piece.
It's a 4-piece. We're going to have a 4-piece in. So this play from Capsule, there is some dead space here, but Capsule single-handedly brings this game back for Florida. Right here, it's
against
a blowout.
the champions.
And in favor of New York, it's a blowout. Capsule, it's not the flashiest of plays, but he goes on like a 7 spree. He's playing his life barber. He's finessing.
It's just high-level COD.
In this game, it comes down to the wire, not talking HBO.
No.
New York win it, but Capsule's play here is the only reason this map becomes close, and Florida has a chance to win it. But
yeah, it's just high-level COD. He's backing up. He's playing his cuts, playing his life. He ends up getting the nade kill over the top. I mean, he was
frying this weekend.
Yeah, Capsule had an incredible weekend as an individual. Obviously, they get 0-6 after they play OpTic, but he's just making big-time plays right here, buying time for his team, making sure this whole left side of the map is cut off, and ends up getting a cruise missile for his efforts.
Yeah, I mean, Cap Good work, kid. Number 4, this was filthy from Sib. Just like mechanically, it looked insane. Like
mechanically very gifted.
Yeah, you guys will see it develop. Obviously, Seattle will have a tough tournament, but they still have some of the most talented players in the world, Sib, Pred. Seattle's struggling right now, but I mean, still, it's moments like this that just
they could turn
make
it up
them
at
a
any
threat
moment.
at any moment. Picks
Watch
up
this,
the SMG.
Like
it just looks great. Dante's number 4.
Yeah, that was insane.
Down to our top 3. It's a
Kismet.
4-piece from the champions. It's Kismet.
At a crazy time as well. That's why it's so highly placed in our top 10, because it's a 4-piece. Yeah, he doesn't really get shot at, but
closes the map out.
It closes the map out against Toronto. Obviously, map number 1, huge in the series.
And here it is, number 2. It is
the 2. Wait,
this is the ace from Kismet in
no,
a huge.
Yes, it is.
This is the ace from Kismet. We'll see number 1 soon, and I think number 1's a fair one. But Kismet, we only saw 3 of the kills, but a big ace and a big time moment. And here it is. It's Simp with
1v3.
a 1v3, 2-2
game 5
to tie things up at. Things are tied up at 2. This is to go up 3-2 in the series.
Yeah. Talk about a big time clutch. Bomb's going down right now. He's got 45 seconds to work with. He's got shit to clear right now. It's just an impressive time, and this honestly was what like we were talking about. It was like this was a dagger for New York because they know they should win this round. They end up losing it, and then they end up losing like 3 or 4 rounds in a row after. They lose 4 in a row after this round.
Yep.
So just a huge momentum swing.
Kiz is feeling himself. Simp starts roaring. I mean, he starts screaming. What a clutch from Simp. And ladies and gentlemen, number 0.
Number 0.
No.
Tej might have had a cookie before this one.
Now, this one's weird, though, because, like, based on the physics of the game,
yeah, where'd
we
that
were
nade
talking
go?
to him Sunday night. There is no nade indicator in the game, so it didn't really show him anything.
And they're like, Tej is tweaking. And then you look at him, and he might be tweaking.
And it looks like the nade goes behind him, so he moves forward, and it's just an all-out tough one.
Yeah, and I think that should do it here for us for the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing in here. And that is all. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our final segment.
Yes, it is.
Zin, go ahead. Do the honors.
Guys, it's Call of Community, and for this one, we will be strictly taking questions from Twitter. We want to incentivize you guys showing love to the Twitter, so please.
At Breakdown Pod.
Breakdown POD on Twitter. We sent out a tweet earlier for some questions.
Breakdown POD.
If you're not following, please drop it a follow. We got plenty of questions here. What happened to the Challenger Team of the Week? I really love seeing that on the breakdown. Yeah, let's shout out to the Challenger champions, Wababobs. We talked about Abusa before on the show. A lot of upcoming challengers. I will say, for the most part, the challengers that we discussed pretty much remain the top challengers. Millennium 7, Abusa, Wababob. I will say the Boston Breach Academy, they go on a run. There was a lot of talk around Doug and the squad because they actually end up beating Millennium 7.
Didn't they got what, top 4?
Top 3 or top 4, I forget which. But
top 3.
They got top 3. But the challengers, I mean, Abuse is still on my radar.
Absolutely.
They end up taking it home.
We think he's going to land on London next year. Perhaps.
It would make sense, but...
I got a good one here. I like this question a lot. It's from Flexed, a.k.a. Dylan. He said, do you think CODs will ever be dominated by consistently by one team again? Cole,
No.
OpTic, etc., or no, because of how poorly CODs have been made recently? Maps, time to kill, snaking, spawns, PC cheese, EQ, making winning inconsistent.
Yes, you just said it all there yourself. I don't think we'll ever see... Unfortunately, the skill gap isn't what it used to be.
It's very small.
You could literally, I'll use Formal's IW performance as an example. You'll still see dominant performances, but now it's like a bunch of players having dominant performances. And granted, there is still players that are like S-tier talented players, and they're still popping off, but the games are just... There's no red dots. There's no permanent dead silence. I think map design has definitely changed. We have different game modes. And there's too much talent now.
Yeah.
I think there's so much talent in the
It's
league
so top
that...
heavy.
I mean, just look at the MVP race. I feel like back then, I guess there was debate around MVPs, but we literally have 5-10 players who you can make an argument for when it comes to MVPs. So I don't think you'll see teams dominate like
to be
they
fair,
used to.
there was also more games being played, so it kind of really showed who the MVPs are. Nowadays, the sample size is a lot smaller. At tournaments, you could play you can win 3 matches and you're in a final, a grand final. So it's the sample size is just a lot smaller. Back in the day, you had to win probably 6 or 7 series before you even sniffed the grand final. And that's going through winners bracket because you got to factor in pool play, winners 1, 2, 3, 4. There was just a lot more games being played, and I feel like the sample size kind of affects that MVP race as well. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see a dominant team at one point again.
Yeah.
Like Cold War phase, they were pretty fucking dominant.
Yes,
and that was 2 years ago.
But Cold War's skill gap, I think,
Cold War's skill gap was high.
Cold War is probably one of the best competitive games we've ever had. I mean, we had sort of basic spawns. I think map design was actually pretty good. I don't think the most recent titles were as good as Cold War competitively.
Correct.
So
Cold War was a
that was a skill gap game.
Yes. Next up, I got a question from Skater Chick. Do you think OpTic losing all maps this weekend will affect their mindset going into champs?
Let's hope not. I don't think so. I think you have a short-term memory, and I think you build up that momentum and confidence again in practice, assuming hopefully practice goes back to normal and things are going well. Can't really afford to really let that negative snowball, that negative mindset sort of compound. You're kind of just hoping that they forget about it. You didn't even go to the event.
From what I've heard within the team, they will be fine, screw their heads on, get it together.
Yeah.
I mean, they know they didn't play well. Obviously, it sucks. It sucks for the fans to watch them lose, but obviously being players, it sucks more. You're putting all your work into this. You're getting roasted. They look great coming into the tournament, then they have a flat weekend. They're going to do everything that they can to perform well at champs.
Yeah.
And I'm confident that they can perform well at champs.
Who's winning this series in MW2 from K. Scat Riley? It's Team New Jersey, me, Simp, Zuma, Bose, or Team PA, you, Killa, Standy, Teej. We're fucking pissing on you. I got Bose throwing frags, Zuma's flanking you, and Simp, I'm going Simp, go. And I'm behind him. You're toast.
We got strong arms. We got
smokes. Sloss is like, oh, what? Simp's weak.
Yeah, you guys probably got that.
Teej is eating cookies before the fucking tournament.
But I got Standy, Teej. I mean, there could be a series because I'd piss on. I'd take care of you.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Would.
Yeah, you're terrible. Mike Ames, if you could make a team with 4 players from teams who didn't qualify for champs, Vegas, Florida, London, LAG, what would that team be? That's a good question.
Say that one more time for me. I wasn't paying attention.
If you could make a team with 4 players from teams who didn't qualify for champs, Vegas, Florida, London, LAG, what would that team be? Clay's my man AR. Wait, London, LAG, Florida, Vegas. I'm going Clay main.
Capsule
on the SMG. Standy.
And who's the flex?
Nasty?
Maybe Nasty.
Nasty?
That sounds like a pretty solid team.
But also, you got Joe Deceives, you got Alec, Teej.
Oh, shit.
Dude, see, I understand Vickle played well. Dude, it's not like these players are bad. There were 8 teams better. Individually, these players on different teams could shine. That's an impossible question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a pretty solid team, though.
Yeah.
Let me pick one out here.
Does Boston need Zinni?
They need something.
You're fucked up. It's a lot of the same question.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we answered this earlier. When it comes to the MVP talk between Hydra or Abizi, I think now it goes to Abizi. He has 2 championships on the year.
Hydra, you mean? You said Abizi.
Sorry, yes, I meant Hydra. Hydra has 2 championships on the year. Abizi has 1. Abizi has been insane. I think it's top 2, undebatable, Hydra and Abizi. But Hydra's contribution to New York is just second to none. Yeah. I mean, without him, they don't win these championships at all. He was lights out all year long.
A lot of MVPs, that's normally the case. FaZe, not so much. But Abizi is an integral part of that team, but they also have some heavy hitters as well. I mean, even New York, it's the MVP... The MVP is the facilitator for the team. They make shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Hydra, Abizi, Cell, players like that, Dashy, Shotzi, players all like that just fucking go crazy in moments that help your team out. I mean, it's an argument for all of them, but Hydra right now, it's undisputed.
Yeah. Will either of you guys come back for MW3?
No.
And compete? I mean, he told me I'm not even allowed, so even if I wanted to, he told me I'm fucking locked up.
He's not allowed, chat.
He's got me in a cage.
But next up, what happens to the roster if they don't win champs? That's a hard one.
It's an obvious one.
It's an obvious one, but it's a hard one.
I think top 2, there's a conversation. You keep things the same. I think for any team, if you don't place top 2, most teams are changing.
And that was from Cap World. I like to read their Twitters as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 6th place, I don't really think the whole roster's staying together. I think the only argument to keep a full roster together is top 2, and the rest I see making changes.
Correct.
So I hope that answers it.
I think this offseason is going to be crazy because I think a lot of thieves are unrestricted
free agents.
People are talking about FaZe. If they don't come out and win or get second, does the trio split up? That
would be fucking crazy if the trio splits up.
I feel like this offseason could be Pretty insane.
The best, most exciting one yet?
Potentially. And guess who's going to be covering all that?
Us on the watch party and the breakdown.
Correct. We will be breaking a lot of that shit down. Probably not as formal of a show of this, but we will be talking roster changes because they're going to get crazy this year. I feel like there's a lot of big moves that are going to happen. I feel like we're going to see a shift in a lot of these superstar players, and we're going to see them start teaming up and start making super teams. Like there's always like a cycle that happens with that kind of stuff. It's like every couple years, like teams get an opportunity to make super teams. Yep. And I feel like this year we're kind of due with contracts and stuff like that.
Oh, Lord.
It's going to be crazy.
It is.
You got anything else?
Which team do you think has a shot of ruining everyone's pick'em? So I guess that's a question from Pro Trinity, James. I guess that question is basically who the dark horse for champs is, who could really like ruin the brackets for everybody. This one's tough, man.
Boston could beat OpTic and shock the world.
I mean, Boston,
I think people have OpTic beating Boston right now.
Boston has potential. I mean, Boston always has potential because they have a really stacked roster. Like they have like pop-off players. Who knows if that roster will stay the same?
Seattle. I feel like
Seattle's a good dark horse.
The two teams right now that have the most question marks around them are the teams that could obviously cause the most just damage. Because Seattle plays FaZe, Boston plays OpTic.
Yep.
I mean, if either of those two teams win that series, it instantly just shakes up the whole bracket, similar to what we saw with Florida. I know people are going to call me a jinx again. Stop it. But those are my two teams. Those are my two teams that could make and do the most damage. One more question, and then we'll end the show. It's been kind of a long one already. Do OpTic players feel added pressure because they know if they get eliminated early, the whole scene suffers and viewership drops, or as competitors, you don't think about that?
I don't think they think about that.
They don't think about that at all. They're out there. They're competing for, obviously, championships. They do not think about that one bit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they want to do well for the fans, the supporters, all that good stuff. But
they want to stay on OpTic.
And they want to stay on OpTic. I mean,
I think every player... I think for the most part, most players would like to play for OpTic. I don't want to speak for all of them, but I think a lot of them would like that. So once you get the opportunity, you kind of want to keep it. I don't think they're thinking about viewership, though, no. They are thinking about championships, and no, they're not thinking about viewership.
Absolutely. I don't think they are either. But, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you all enjoyed the show today. It was a little bit of a long one. I mean,
how is it not, man? It's a major.
Not really much avoiding that. The major, obviously, we have, probably double, triple the matches. I mean, on a weekend, we have, 3, 7, 10? So, yeah, there's double the matches.
It was 18 matches, right?
So, it's almost double the matches from a regular weekend. So, I think it was a good show regardless.
Yeah, thank you guys so much as always. It's our second to last show of the season, which is bittersweet to say. I know it sucks. That being said, in the offseason, of course, with roster changes and all that bullshit, maybe some breakdowns, maybe from the setup, maybe at-home breakdowns. Either way, of course, we're still going to be covering everything Call of Duty. We're just sort of unsure in which way we're going to do it for the offseason.
Absolutely.
But, of course, we're going to have our Champs episode, which will end the first, I guess, year or half a year of the breakdown, which is interesting to say because if you asked me 3-4 months ago before I retired if I'd be sitting here right now not playing at Champs or doing a fucking talk show and watch parties, my answer would be no. Life comes at you fast.
Absolutely.
And it's been a lot of fun, and we hope you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah.
W spam.
Yep. Hope you guys enjoy it. Again, thank you very much to everyone that is joining us here live. We will see you all for our final episode of the breakdown
After
in
Champs.
about 3 weeks?
2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Oh my God, dude. Why is it flowing? It's flying by. This is the earliest the Call of Duty season has ever ended. We might go on vacation.
We will also be at DreamHack this weekend, starting Friday for the Halo Invitational there. There's a CS event there. I mean, it's going to be a crazy fucking weekend.
It's going to be awesome.
And then after that, I got Nadeshot's Bachelor Party. After that, I have Champs. After that, I have Halo R Major.
Christ.
After that, I have something in the works that I can't really speak about right now, but we're going to be all over the fucking place. But thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. This video will be live on YouTube and Spotify, I believe, in just a little bit. So make sure you give a follow. What is the Spotify, by the way? Breakdown Pod?
Something like that. It's in the Breakdown Pod Twitter. It might be just Breakdown. But I'm also about to go live once I get home, so I'll see you in the stream. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thanks for watching.